Well, it's good to get a win, and to be able to have Ronnie back really helps. And uh, I thought our energy was much better than what it has been the last three games. Obviously, we were way more deliberate, but I thought that was a team win. I thought there were multiple people who stepped up, and we got contributions out of everybody. And I've reminded them that I mean we don't have a lottery pick on our team, and we don't have anybody that's going to go in the first round. And this is going to have to be a team effort. And I thought they stepped up and did a phenomenal job. Robert Braswell can really shoot. So for that dude to finish 3 for 12, 0 for 5 from three, and then we gave Rich Rolfe, number 24, too many easy looks early, 2 for 4, but he didn't even get off a shot in the second half. So I thought there was a level of urgency that was required, and I thought there was accountability, and fortunately it translated to a win.
Coach Harlan just said that he felt like you guys were way more like detail oriented this game, and you mentioned just like more deliberate. You feel like it's just kind of get back to the way that you guys know you can play. Did it feel good tonight to get back to that? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we were, I mean, again, I've always felt we were really detail oriented. It's really about the players, like how invested are they, and I mean, we've started to make them make the presentation on scouting reports. So us as coaches, we don't even do it anymore on game day. Now we do all the work. And then we prep those guys, but they do the delivery, and we needed more ownership from those guys and accountability. You just can't kind of go out there and just play and think this stuff is happening. I know a lot of people, think that players just show up and it's add water and it just happens, but I mean, nothing actually works that way.
So what is that? I heard you say that on a radio show. What does that look like? So like when the players give the scouting report, like so you give them the info, then it's up to them to, or what's
Well,
it?
I mean, they've listened to it twice. So I mean, we go through it three times. So let's say there's a Friday game. The first time they'll hear it is Wednesday. They'll hear it again Thursday. Then they hear it on game day at shoot around. So by the third time, that's them making the presentation. This guy does this. This guy does that. And so they have to be dialed in on the personnel, but they have to talk through it. And sometimes those guys will just sit there comatose and they're just listening, but you can tell it's passive. We have them in there. They take notes. Sometimes you really don't know if they're writing stuff down that's important or if they just heard something and they're saying it. But we try to emphasize things that they know are important, but we need a more accountability for them. And to their credit, they've handled it well.
Coach, it was great to see Ronnie back out there. Certainly was happy to be back out there too. When he entered the game, was that always going to be the plan for you to put him in? At that point in the second half, we were just kind of feeling some things out.
No, that was pretty scripted. Just thought we'd put him in somewhere around the 12-minute mark and see where he was. You could tell he's pretty anxious, obviously picking up a couple of fouls pretty early. He's probably in there for 3 minutes before we had to come back and set him down. I just think I mean, we said this when we originally lost. Seemed like he's going to make up so much defensively, some of our shortcomings. There's a play there where Nick Graves goes left. We don't squeeze it like we should. He recognizes that the protection part of pick and roll isn't covered, and he just gets in there and makes a play and stabs it. He does so many things that don't ever show up on a stat sheet. But everything he does, it's about winning. And then there will be times we would not have won Western Kentucky without Ronnie. Had we not had him, we wouldn't have beat Northern Iowa had we not had him. And, going back to Northern Iowa where we got 47% of our misses in the second half, but we played Ronnie and Corey and Quincy together. There'll be time for that. And so right now it's kind of Quincy or Ronnie, one of those two. But there will be a time we just got to get Ronnie back more in the flow. He's back earlier a week than we anticipated. We thought he would miss 14 games and then play the last, guaranteed 14 games. But he's going to be, he only missed 12, and he's going to be back the final 16, Lord willing. So
What's your reaction when he bounced in that three ball?
we needed something to fall, just going 1 for 6 there in the first half. Justin Hill's left corner one from Harlan off the early drag, but AJ made the right one, and I'm happy for Ronnie. Ronnie's on that treadmill, I mean, for the last 6 weeks. And I don't know if you've ever just been on a treadmill for like an hour every day, but it's probably not very fun. With the little running that I do, I like to do it outside just so that there's some level of scenery. But he showed up every day, always got workouts in. Even with his hand hurting, he would work on his other hand until he got mobility there. But he's fully invested. He wants to get it. I tell you, we had a team meeting on Saturday after that loss at UTSA, and he was the most vocal and loudest in the room. So you realize how invested he is.
And that's a team that I think they were top 10 in foul rate. Love to get to the line. Keeping them off the line, just for them not to live at the line, and then just the shot selection. Were you pretty happy with how the defense? I would assume probably followed the game plan better than what they have been doing.
Definitely better. I thought that, fortunately Robert didn't make his first one, and then I thought 24's looks in the right corner were way too clean. It was off a Corey closeout, and we've got to be way better at that. I told the staff at halftime that we've got to get back to having way more flybys, Kango's, urgency on getting to shooters. But we were a lot better and just had to really challenge those guys. I thought Quincy Ballard was terrific because they do a lot of inside-out threes. But in the first half, I mean, if you look, the Rosado kid is really good, and he was able to score. But in the second half, if you go look at those looks, like Quincy Ballard handled that one-on-one really, really isolated on an island and handled it well. And I thought some of that prevented their opportunities because they get a lot. You can see his ability to pass. I thought Quincy's ability had a lot to do with some of their three-point ability, just not being able to make more than 22%.
I heard you say that you weren't going to let them run as much as they have been. Talking about your guys, it seemed like they were good at, when they're playing with pace, playing with tempo. Though, do you feel like they picked their spots a lot better?
Well, I mean, there were some things we were trying to do. We were trying to get a lot of early drags, and given the fact that they hedge, we thought maybe we could turn the corner. I mean, just think about how hard it is off of a blitz package from a pick and roll standpoint to run back, then have to run up while another guy's going downhill. And we've got Justin and Xavier and Harlan and able to get into some creases. And then they flooded to the ball more so to Quincy and didn't allow those opportunities. So we were able to throw out and had some. But I thought those early drags were really key.
And then Corey, playing through an injury to still be at that level, just how impressive is what he's doing right now?
Right. I mean, that's a tough kid. There's just very few people who would have even tried on Saturday to play. But I mean, he hadn't practiced all week, so again, he shoots a left corner three early in that game. Then he gets his own rebound, shoots it, and you can just tell when he shoots that next one. You can tell how much his shoulder's bothering him. But I mean, he stays consistent. Like, that's a tough kid. And he plays hard. We're all aware. I thought he was going to jump over the table for the one ball that wasn't even in play, and I was like, "Please don't! Like, that ball is clearly out of bounds." But he wants to contribute. He wants to add value. He's about the right things on the court. Everybody talks about character, and there's off-court character, and there is on-court character. His on-court character is really high. I'm not telling you he's a bad kid off the court, but his on-court character is really high.
Harlan on those early drags, why was he so effective?
That's what Harlan does, right? His ability to go downhill, but more so, the 4 assists, 2 turnovers. He can actually see the floor. He's got good vision and able to find the basketball. I'm curious. I'd have to go back to look, but I think there were 2 passes that actually led to free throw opportunities. So, I know that they don't get assisted on that, but he can really play downhill. He's quick. We ran numbers a year ago just off of when people ran under and then when you drove it back, and he was top 5 in the country. But he can change pace, change sides. People kind of plug it on him pretty early, but kind of it based on the defensive coverage that the other opposition's given. And we just knew that if they were going to extend that much, it kind of plays into Harlan's hands.
Anything else?
And
Coach, one thing to start to move in the right direction here. First conference win. I think
Yeah.
What's it do for this kind of group and the kind of direction you guys want to move in?
Yeah, what I've just told the team is just be committed to the moment. Like, I mean, you start thinking about results, you're in trouble, right? We all sit around and say, I'd like to be here at age 30, 40, 50, 60. And if you focus on that stuff, you're in trouble. Like if you just don't figure out a way to stay committed to whatever moment, and your job's just to stack days. I just thought our energy the last 3 games, we have not come out with the right mentality or the right approach. I just think that sometimes in some of those games, we just thought we were going to win and we didn't necessarily have to apply the work that's required. So, really challenge those guys just to stay in the moment. And winning is a byproduct of being able to do that. And we need to be committed to that. And so, there's a little bit of a mind shift involved there that we have to be mindful of. And again, you can't be a high level player and perform at a high level game if you're not doing high level practices. And so we needed to approach a number of things different, but being committed in the moment is probably paramount to us having some level of success tonight. And again, it was contributions by everybody.
My last one, I was just gonna ask, just generally speaking, like, what did you guys do? Like, how did the team improve, like, over the last few days? Whether that's behind the scenes, anything that they showed tonight, like, where did you guys get better at?
Yeah, I would tell you it was after the UTSA loss, right? I mean, it usually happens that when things don't go your way, if you're the least bit competitive, you're going to try to make some changes. And again, it has to be collective. It just can't be 1 or 2 guys. And the only thing that I could tell you was I thought the care factor was a lot higher. Our care factor and what it needed from defending personally, I just thought that guys did not take defending personally and taking that stuff personal at a high enough level. There were a number of things that got botched tonight, obviously, in pick and roll coverage, especially early. Corey had a reject early that led to a bucket. We have a Nick Graves bucket off of Justin's inability to handle a reject. We can clean all that up. But if your care factor's low, it's not going to go well. So I'm just a big believer that you'll be successful at whatever it is you do if you really, really care about it. And there's an application from a work side. And I felt like the care factor in the room raised. Thank you.